Hi everyone, it's your favorite Atomic Blonde here again with a little video about a show that I was 50-50 on making. Literally, I watched House of Dynamite yesterday or even the day before, I can't even remember now. And I was like, well, I need to make a video about Welcome to Derry. Should I make one about House of Dynamite? But I was like, it's a bit of a, And I'll be honest, I'll put my hands up and say, I literally replied to the Critical Drinkers message saying, it's a house of nothing. And I went, yeah. I was literally like, should I make a video about this? But it feels kind of pointless. And now I feel kind of bad coming on here making a video because Drinker has, and it's not because Drinker has, but I just kind of like should have stuck on my gut maybe and just jumped on and go, guys, I don't really know what this film's not about. I mean, I know it's about, obviously, but what was the point of this film? And I was actually excited I was excited, intrigued to watch it, given the cast, and the director, Catherine Bigelow. You got Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson, the guy from Night Manager. But anyway, really good cast. And I cannot fault the acting or even the direction in this film. It was really good. And I went into this completely cold. I had no idea what it is about at all. I just literally saw the cast and thought, that looks interesting. And then, as I always do, as you know, guys on this channel, I'm not good with long films at all. And it was like, I think an hour and 45, hour and 50. And I was like, or getting on for 2 hours or whatever it was, and I'm always a bit like, why can't we just have 90-minute films anymore? So anyway, put it on, completely sucked in. The first half hour of this film is great, and it starts off, people going about their day. Rebecca Ferguson, she's a mum, and her son's not very well, but she works at the White House and she's off, and her husband's looking after the kid. And again, just normal family, not a deadbeat dad. He's happy to take the kid to the doctor. She works at the White House. He seems to have an important job as well. He's not a complete numpty, but off she goes. And she basically works in, I can't remember what they call it, like the event room or the war room or whatever they call it. But if an event happens, these guys track what's going on in the world. So she kind of gets there, she gets to work, and they basically see a missile's been launched. And initially they're a bit like, we think it's just another testing a missile, not massively concerned. And we skip to some base somewhere. They probably do tell us, I can't remember, but that's American troops, and their job is to track and fire any intercept missiles should something actually need to be intercepted. So again, it's all looking like a test. There's been one previously. It's on the same trajectory, and easy for you to say, or for me to say. But then it carries on going, and then they realize that this is not a drill, and this missile is heading towards the States. So all the emergency stuff kicks in, and there's all the protocols start kicking in. There's lots of things on Zoom, and everybody's jumping on calls. You got the president coming in, national, all the important people, right? And then, of course, there's no important people aren't available, so the deputy has to come in and all this kind of thing, right? And as it goes through, this basically gets more and more serious. It's very clear that this thing is, Initially, it was like a test, and they thought it was going to land, sort of somewhere outside of a major city in America. So they're doing the numbers, and then it's going to hit Chicago. And then there's various people, very important people, and their kids are in Chicago. And obviously, the protocols are, your mobile phone is outside of the room where you work, and people start getting their phones and start warning people and just saying, I love you, get the hell out of here. All of this kind of stuff. And the first 30 minutes with Rebecca Ferguson and the team, and they're tracking this missile, and you're watching the guys who have to send the interceptors. And basically, the interceptors don't work, right? So this missile is heading for Chicago. They tried everything, and it's like cuts to the president, or doesn't. Well, basically, the president's on the phone. It's like, what are we going to retaliate? What are we going to do? And the whole thing is with this, they don't really know who's fired the missile. So who are you retaliating against? So of course they're on the phone to the Russians. Russians on the phone to China. It's kind of hinted at that it's North Korea, but don't really come out and say it. But the whole thing is we don't really know who's fired the missile, where it's come from, so who America can retaliate against, right? And I absolutely loved the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes literally ends with Rebecca Ferguson reaching across, holding her colleague's hand. Literally is like 2 minutes on the clock. And this is the thing I couldn't work out, right? This film is like, say, 155 minutes or something. And 30 minutes in, the whole story's been told. And you're like, well, what are they going to do now? What's going to happen next? And I was like, so literally she holds his hand, and just as the bomb's going to, and then we just cut to, and this is the whole thing for me, spoilers, goes off a cliff. Absolutely goes off a cliff. Yeah, it was so disappointing. At that point, I was absolutely with this film, big time. And then it just reverts to tropes. So now we have to relive the same 20, 30 minutes over and over again from different perspectives. So from the war room where we were, and they're talking to people on the Zoom. Then we cut to this group of people on the Zoom. Then we cut to this group of people on the Zoom. Then we cut to the president on the Zoom, and all these different things. And then you get, and the thing is, like, you kind of go, oh, okay. And there was one instance where something happened, and you're like, oh, what happened there? And you find out what happened there, and it's just like, really? Really? So I think it's a really important person in the government, like head of security or something. He can basically, other than the president, can say, like, do this stuff, and basically his daughter's in Chicago. They don't have a very good relationship. Find out that his wife's died. For some reason, they don't have a good relationship. He managed to get hold of her on the phone. She's not even interested, or she's really not bothered. He's trying to tell her, like, get out of the city, but she's not even like bothered. It's just about will talk to him. So therefore, a helicopter turns up. I think it's head of national security or something like that. The helicopter turns up for him to leave. He goes up on the roof. Helicopter's there, and because his daughter's in Chicago, and they can't stop the missile from launching, he just walks off the top of the building, as you do. Really important part of the government. And yes, you can't save your 20-something-year-old daughter, but he just walks straight off the top of the building. You're like, oh, great politician you are. Well done. Thanks for saving everybody. And then Idris Elba's the president, and he's fine. He's great. But his wife's in Africa, so she's fine. She's going to be all right. She's off saving elephants or something. And he's on the satellite phone to her, because obviously, as a man, he's like, hey, wife, what should I do? Do I retaliate or don't I retaliate? And of course, the satellite phone breaks down, and then he basically has to make a decision by himself. And the whole upshot of all of this, right? So we have the first 30 minutes has this amazing tension. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What happens next? And then we just keep rewinding. And then you basically, it's just like, nah, it's just going to end. And we don't know what happens, right? So we don't know. They keep going on, well, the warhead may not even detonate in Chicago. That often happens. But we have to assume that Chicago's wiped off the face of the map. We don't know. But the whole thing, right, after the first 30 minutes, just loses all its tension because you just play this scenario over and it's such a trope. We've seen it so many times now that, hey, but also normally when you see it from a different angle, it brings something different to the story. Nothing new was brought to the story. All you're seeing is obviously lots of different people all going through the same thing. And of course, we're all going to lose someone or have a difficult decision to make. Well, no shit, Sherlock, right? You're in government. Or you've got to leave someone behind who, like the president gets on his helicopter and he's his security guy behind. And he's looked after him and two other presidents. We've already heard that. But he just gets left behind. Not sure that would actually happen, but he'd probably get on the helicopter. But anyway, so this poor guy just gets left behind and, he's probably going to be blown up or whatever. But I don't think he's in Chicago. But again, it doesn't really matter, right? All these people that you're seeing aren't in Chicago, which is where the bomb's going to go off. So actually what happens to them is kind of irrelevant. It's awful because the only question that's left open is like, was it a mistake that this thing got launched? If it was, why is no one reached out saying, hey, don't retaliate? There's conversations between the US and Russia going, hey, don't retaliate. And the Chinese saying, yeah, it's not us. So we're literally going to wait until the bomb goes off and see if any other missiles launch because it might have been a mistake, might not have been. But the whole film is actually completely pointless. It's a film about absolutely nothing. There's a missile crisis. Lots of people for an hour and 55 minutes going, should we do something or not? And then we don't even find out what they blooming do. Because we get to the point where the president's going to make a decision. And we heard it and there's one scene before, right, this is what I'm doing. And his mic breaks or his satellite phone breaks up. And then the last thing is the president on the helicopter saying, right, this is what we're going to do. So we're like, at least we're going to hear what the president says, even though the guys don't hear because the satellite phone breaks up. Oh no, we just end it there. We just end it there. It's a completely pointless film. And I literally sat there and went, because there's no tension after the first 30 minutes, right? You're completely invested. You're sitting there going, oh my God, is this missile going to hit Chicago, isn't it? But then you just keep reliving it. And you don't get any further forward. And at the end of it, yes, you can take it to its natural conclusion that I know, maybe the bomb does go off and America does retaliate. But who they retaliated against? The whole point of the film was they didn't even know who to fire missiles against. It's a completely pointless film. Very well acted, very well directed, looks great, and this is my comments all the time. These films look great, they sound great, have great actors, but the story is completely BS. I'm like, well, the fact that we have come full circle, as you hear on this channel all the time. I grew up in the 80s, 90s. We're back to making nuclear war films, which is sad and awful that the world is back where we started as I started as a kid, right? We're back to making films about nuclear war can happen. Those films completely went away, right? 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Nuclear war, well, that was in the past. These films are completely back. But hey, 80s went hard, man. 70s, 80s, nuclear, especially the 80s. You want to see a nuclear war film? Go watch Threads. Go watch The Day After. These films went hard. And I think there was rumors that, was it Reagan saw The Day After and that instigated glasnost because nobody wants to blow up the world, right? This film is just like, well, somebody might accidentally set off a bomb and we may or may not do something. If you're going to go there, right? But it just sums up everything that's wrong with our world right now. I just think I don't want to upset someone. Don't offend someone by saying they might have launched a bomb. Oh my gosh, we don't really. It's just a completely, so frustrating. Very well acted, very well directed, pointless film. So let me know what you think. If you want to be bothered to go see it. Well, to be fair, it's on Netflix. You can watch it for free. Well, free if you subscribe. You know what I'm saying, guys. But yeah, please do like, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think of this film, Hse of Dynamite. I was very, very disappointed. And yeah, feel a bit rubbish that I was and ahh'd today. Do I make a video? Don't make a video. And then replied to the drinker going, yeah, I was going to make a video, but thought it's pointless because the film's pointless. But then I was like, hey, let's come on and explain why I think it's pointless at least, right? At least I can do. Hopefully you don't feel I'm jumping on the bandwagon, but it is a pointless film. But if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear why you disagree with me. So leave me a comment and I'll be back soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.